Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars, welcome to another PlayStation 4 review. Today's review is for the new Watchdogs Legion's DLC, Bloodline. Now, fans of Watchdogs Legion, you are well aware that this game came out last year, Watchdogs Legion, and it was a bit hit and miss with some people, I think it's fair to say. It really experimented with this new mechanic where any single character in the game could become a playable character. So you kind of made your own fun in the game, made your own adventure. But a lot of people also thought that the lack of a hero figure or a real protagonist in the game harmed it. Now, I understand that argument, but I personally really enjoyed this new mechanic in Watchdog Legion, and I've just recently restarted the game on the PlayStation 5 with the upgrade, as I've just got the PlayStation 5, obviously. And it's like playing again, completely new characters. It feels like a new game almost. But the Bloodline DLC that has just been released reintroduces Aiden Quinn into the Watchdog universe. Now, our fans of these games will obviously know that Aiden Quinn is the protagonist from the first game. Very popular figure, and he once again returns here, not just on his own, but also with Wrench, who was one of the most popular characters in Watch Dogs 2. So these guys kind of team up, and the story that you get here is Aiden is offered a job in London. He decides to take this job mainly because Jackson, his nephew, is living in London, so he thinks it's a good opportunity to, meet up with him or get reacquainted. Right at the beginning of the game, the job goes sideways. Aiden Quinn is immediately in trouble. He's got to protect his nephew and find Wrench and find this piece of equipment that he needs to be able to protect his family. Now, this game basically it's for those of you that criticise Watchdog Legion because it didn't have a strong protagonist and it felt like there was no real direction because there was no one character leading the campaign, you're probably really going to like this. If you're more used to like the sole protagonist, heading the game up in the first two games, you're going to much prefer this DLC. It reintroduces two massively popular characters from the first two games, and it's the DLC. I don't know. I mean, I finished it in about eight and a half hours, something like that. But depending on how much of a completionist you are, you could probably stretch it out to maybe about 10 hours here with this game. And it's about half and half in a sense of you play half the game as Aiden Quinn and half the game as Wrench. So you get plenty of opportunity to play the game with both these characters, and they've both got different sets of skills. Now, because the mechanic here in the game isn't there anymore where you can recruit anybody that you see on the streets, the hacking ability is very much like you would expect from the first game especially, and a little bit of the second game. It just gives you information of people on the streets. The skills that Aiden's got is he's got this gadget that will basically cause haywire in the immediate area in regards to all technological things. It will jam things. It will make things immobile. All this kind of stuff. He's got a really cool handgun. He's got he's got his baton, things like that, and he's got his costume as well from the first game, which many of you will obviously very much like. But also, you can dress him however you want in many of the shops scattered around London. So you don't have to just stick to the outfit that it gives you right at the beginning of the game. And Wrench has got a completely different set of skills as well. Wrench has got like a drone that he can call, his own drone that's got like missiles on it. And he's got like a shotgun and a rifle that kind of, fires out electric shocks, things like that. He's got like a hammer as a melee weapon. So they've both got loads of different options in regards to how they choose to take down the enemy here. And the options are all open to you. You can go in stealthily, hack everything, try and get out without killing as few people as possible, or you can go in all guns blazing. Once again, the choice is completely up to you, and the options are both completely viable. For me, the biggest weak point to this DLC is the fact that this huge city, London, that they tried very hard in Watch Dogs Legion to fill it up with things for you to do, whether they be silly things like keepy uppies or collecting technological things to upgrade, technical points to upgrade your tech, or money that you could find to, you know, increase your funds to buy different outfits, etc., etc. There's very little of that here in London. Basically you're just driving from A to B, and there's not an awful lot to do here in the city, unfortunately. The game is set just before you take over, like in the storyline from the first Watchdogs. I think the bomb has happened, but it's before, like, you know, you take over as in the story. But it's while it is a little bit predictable, the game, to some degree. It's nice to see Aidan Quinn back. It's nice to see him, you know, kind of tying up his story in a sense with his family and things like that. It's really cool to have Wrench back, and it's a real fun DLC package to play. I'm not going to lie here. Do you know what I mean? It feels a little bit empty, this world. You just really feel yourself travelling from A to B. There doesn't seem to be as many radio stations from what I remember from Watchdogs Legion. There's none of them talk show things. Obviously, they would probably have to have, you know, redone audio. Otherwise, you'd just be listening to the same stuff in the other Watchdogs Legion game, and then it wouldn't add up in regards to the timelines and things like that. So I understand why they've reduced maybe some of the radio stations or some of the stuff you can listen to. But I mean, my advice to you is, if you really enjoyed Watchdogs Legion, and you love that new mechanic, you might not just be as keen on this. I mean, I really enjoyed this DLC because it felt like Watchdogs Legion. You've still got this wonderful city of London to travel and traverse around, which is really, really cool. And you're introduced to these two characters from the first two games, which is really, really cool. But if you really didn't like the mechanic in Watchdogs Legion, you know, the fact that you could literally recruit anybody on the streets, you know, a gang of little old grannies or whatever you wanted to do, and you prefer to have like a lead protagonist, you're probably going to enjoy this more than you did Watchdogs Legion. So if you're a fan of the first two games and not so much Legion, this is probably more for you, I would suggest. I've had a really, really good time for it. It's a really good DLC, and I think it's about $11.95. I think I paid for it in the UK, something like that. Now, if you got it in the season pass, you could also use Wrench and Aiden in the main game. I didn't buy this on the season pass, but I'm sure you'll be able to access them at some point. They'll probably make them available at some point. I'm going to give this DLC an 8 out of 10. It's very good, it's very playable, and definitely, if you are a fan of Watchdogs, then it is something for you to check out. So I hope you enjoyed this review, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.